Hey there, I'm Elizabeth Scott. Last week you guys submitted questions and you submitted like so many awesome ones, and I picked 10 of them and I'm going to be answering them now. So thank you guys in advance for sending in the questions. I just loved all of them. It was really hard picking 10. Alright, here we go. The first question is from Amy, and she said, you write both serious books and funny, lighthearted books. Do you prefer writing one over the other? Is it easier to do one than the other? I don't really have a preference, sometimes an idea just grabs me. Well, actually that's usually how I write a book, an idea will just grab me and it won't let me go, and I'll be like, okay, I have to write it. And sometimes the idea is darker and sometimes the idea is lighter. And that's just how it is. As for what's easier, that's a really interesting question. Most people assume that the darker books are a lot harder to write. For instance, everyone assumes that Living Dead Girl must have been like an incredibly traumatic experience for me to write. And it really wasn't. I mean, I got my start writing short stories and I wrote really dark short stories. I actually find it harder to write the lighthearted stories, the ones with comedy in them. And I think that's why I, keep doing them, because it's a challenge and I enjoy a challenge. Plus, I enjoy a good love story too. Okay, the second question is from Dissecting Perfection. And she says, a lot of people say it's important to believe in yourself in your writing, but that's hard for an aspiring writer to do. What I'd like to know is, was there ever one moment where you truly believed for the first time that your work was worth it, and that you believed in yourself as a writer? I will be honest with you. I don't have a lot of belief in my talent as a writer or anything like that. I mean, I like writing, and I am so lucky that I've been published, and just, every day I wake up and I think, wow, this is what I get to do. This is amazing. But I think, more important than believing in your writing is you have to believe in yourself, and I do believe in myself. And that's a quality you will definitely need if you want to be a writer, because really what you need to be a writer, to succeed in the publishing industry, is you have to believe in yourself, and you have to, have persistence. You have to be willing to get rejected over and over again, and to just, to just keep going, to keep trying to go on to the next book, to the next project. So, that I think is really what's most important, to believe in yourself and to just be willing to do, whatever it takes to keep going no matter what. All right, the third question is from Amy, who says, do all friends take each other for granted, as in perfect you, or is there a certain limit you can't go past? That's a really interesting question. I don't think all friends take each other for granted. I think that there's, in a real friendship, a true friendship, there's, a certain amount of give and take. Sometimes you'll really need a friend and they'll be there for you. And other times they'll need you and you'll be there for them. But no, I think a real friendship is not about taking the other person for granted. And I think that if you find yourself in a situation where you're friends with someone who isn't really there when you need them, then that's the time you want to ask yourself, is this person really my friend? Is this a real friendship? All right, next question. Brianna Bean wants to know, how did you meet your husband? You two sound so cute. Thank you. In all the stories you tell us, was he or anyone else you know an inspiration for a character? Those of you who read my bio will know the answer to this question already. I met my husband when I was a freshman in college. I was 18. I actually was at a party and I had met this guy and he wanted my phone number, and I did not want to give him my phone number. So I was like, oh yeah, I would just, I'm gonna go right down here and then I'll come back to get away from him. And so I did. And I walked into a room to get away from this guy. And then as soon as I walked into the room, I saw my husband. I still remember exactly where he was sitting. It was over to the side a little bit. And I looked at him and I was just like, wow, this guy, wow. I mean, I didn't know I was going to marry him or anything. I mean, I was 18, okay, but I knew that he was someone special as soon as I saw him. As far as him being an inspiration for a character, no. I think he'd actually love it if he was, but he hasn't. I'm really not comfortable writing about myself or my personal life, and I would feel really weird writing about him in any way, shape, or form. All right, the next question is from Baby Girl G. And she says, if you could meet your younger self now, what words of wisdom would you give her about the publishing industry? Okay, let's see. I would give my younger self 3 pieces of advice. 1, don't sign with the first agent who offers representation. In fact, query more than one agent at a time. 2, learn all you can about the publishing industry. You know, read trade magazines like Publishers Weekly, even if you have to go to the library to do it. Subscribe to the free email version of Publishers Marketplace, because the more you know about the industry, the more you're going to understand how it works. And 3, the final most important thing, remember that publishing is a business. You have to remember that. You know, I think so many people get so caught up in thinking about other things that they forget that publishers want to make money. You know, that's their job. Their job is to make money. So that's something, you know, those are the 3 things that I would tell my younger self to remember. All right, and next question is from Brittany. And she asks, does majoring in English or writing affect whether one can get published or not? Absolutely not. I majored in European Studies, which is definitely not English or writing. I didn't even start writing until I was 27. So you definitely don't need to major in English or writing in order to get published. In fact, I think it's probably best if you take classes in like a variety of subjects, you know, and all kinds of things, because I think the more you know about different kinds of things, the stronger and richer your writing is going to be. The next question is from Paperback Pixie, and she says, before you were published, did you tell people you were writing a novel? Hell no, I did not. Sorry for the cursing, but like, I don't even tell people I'm working on anything now. Like, even my best friend, like when she asks what I'm working on, I'm like, la la la, nothing really, you know, just something. I cannot talk about what I'm writing on at all, just ever. And the idea of telling people I write freaks me out. And when I first started writing, yeah, you can bet nobody knew. My husband knew, and that was it. I didn't even tell my own family. Like, my parents didn't find out I was writing until I had my first short story published. And then I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I've been writing for a while, and I just had a short story published. So yeah, I didn't tell people I was working on a novel. Some people do, and like, I think that's great, but for me, writing is something like that's really personal, and I have a hard time talking about it. All right, Meredith wants to know, has your neighbor's back porch light come on, or is it still nice and dark out? Meredith, you're a star. Thank you for asking. I'm pleased to report that the light is still off, and it is nice and dark again, like it should be at night in the neighborhood. So yay for that, and fingers crossed that it continues. The next question is from Meg, and she asks, when you were young, did you always want to be a writer? As is probably clear from my answers to previous questions, no. I did not want to be a writer. In fact, my dream job was, and still is, for somebody to pay me to read books. In fact, if there's anyone out there, you know, like an anonymous, generous benefactor who's like, oh, you know that Elizabeth Scott, I feel I should pay her to write books. Yeah, you can just hook me up, okay? Because that's my dream job. But no, I didn't want to be a writer. I hated creative writing assignments of any kind. I avoided them when at all possible. You know, I did the ones I was forced to do in school, and I think I had 2 I had to do in college, and I hated every minute of them. I just sort of fell into writing, and then I realized, wow, this is fun, you know? So I feel really, really lucky that I did that. But no, I didn't always want to be a writer. And now for the last question. It's from Adelaide, and she says, what's your favorite song to rock out to at eardrums shattering levels when you're alone in your car? Okay, you guys, you're gonna like throw tomatoes at me, and that's okay, you know, I accept it. But my favorite thing to listen to in the car is Britney Spears. I love Britney Spears. I know that's like incredibly, you know, whatever, but yeah, there you have it. I am a Britney Spears fan. In fact, I actually just went to see her on her circus tour. So yeah, when I'm in my car, I'm usually singing along to Britney Spears, and I cannot sing at all. So basically what I'm doing is like, you know, caterwauling at the top of my lungs, and that's probably why no one will ever ride anywhere with me now that I think about it. So yes, no longer a closet Britney Spears fan. And again, thank you guys so much for your questions. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you had fun, listening to all this. And if you did, if you made it all the way to the end, yay! And you're a rock star.